All right, guys, welcome to the video. Anthony here, special analysis. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. Going to kind of recap it, how we broke it down this morning live. We're going to kick it off here with the S&P 500. I mean, just a phenomenal move that we identified straight out of the box. We get together right here at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we literally just checked all the boxes here and took this incredible move higher. So we talked about it right here, right? Price trending above our fast moving averages, above both of our VWAPs, favoring 2 time frame momentum. I mean, it just doesn't get prettier, right? So from here, we ran the prior day high, prior week high, which was here. 56.26. So this is where we got together here right around 8 o'clock. In all fairness, I'm not going to obviously use that pullback, but from there, I mean, we ran straight through the prior day high, which gave us just about 10 ticks, and through the opening bell, which took us here into this pivot overhead, giving us a total of 53 ticks on the S&P 500. Just a really phenomenal move. I don't know how else to say it. When new traders come into the program that are not very fluent in their own trade plan quite yet and building that consistency and discipline, which is 99% of the traders, they come in and I start working on this first because I believe that this is the foundation of a trading plan that can be built upon, right? Trading with the trends statistically will provide better chances of being successful if you can remain disciplined and focused and have a trade plan and be consistent, right? And be risk management forward. And this checks all the boxes. So it's 2 time frame momentum, which is identified up here. I have 2 modified MACDs running on 2 different time frames, which I have set up to the way I like them. 3 fast moving averages. 2 VWAPs. Obviously, I want the presence of volume favoring, and you could see that I drew a trend line here, just kind of giving us some overall direction of where I believe the market was headed. You can see we, in fact, respected that trend line later on for a short period of time. But this was it. Like I said, above both VWAPs, favoring volume, respecting these 3 fast-moving averages as, basically rubber bands. You can see we tested the middle one here and pushed, tested it again, tested it a bunch of times, and that's the way it's supposed to work until the trend obviously broke. 2 targets here in mind. The first target was the prior day or prior weekly high, which both were the same, and then of course this pivot up here. This was the gap that we filled. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful run. 53 ticks on the S&P 500. Just a great intraday move. So that is what we identified in the live trade room. I'm going to move that off the screen just for a moment and then now kind of focus on what I did for myself today. And I'm not doing that to be selfish. I'm simply doing that so that you kind of understand the way I trade, right? Because if you want to come trade with me, if you want me to review your trades, if you want me to help you work on your trade plan, if you want me to work with your consistency and your discipline, the mental aspect of becoming a trader, like if you want that help, you should probably know how somebody trades their own money. So this year, because I've decided to significantly increase my exposure and position sizing, I have focused myself personally on the market that I've traded essentially my entire career, and that is light sweet crude oil. In the live trade room, we trade crude oil, gold, Nasdaq, and S&P futures. So I'm going to kind of walk you through here the 2 trades that I myself took today, why I traded them, and kind of give you some insight inside the blog. I will post order flow, in-depth order flow images of both of these trades, which will kind of solidify why I took these trades, where I took them, how they added confirmation to what I already kind of had in place as far as just traditional technical analysis goes. The second trade, I remembered to record the screen as it was going, so I'll also include a video in the blog post as well, so you can actually see how I managed the trade in real time. how I took profits, how I advanced my stop, so on and so forth. Keep in mind, I was gearing up to leave the house to go to a doctor's appointment, so I probably or potentially would have been a little looser if I had more time. The fact of the matter was I didn't have more time. I had to leave the house to go to a doctor's appointment. But either way, it was profitable. Both trades, neither of them filled their full target objective. The second one would have had I had more time. But they were both profitable trades, and I'll talk about them right now real quick. So looking at the, just to give you an outline of what's on the screen here, top left is going to be a daily chart, light sweet crude. Up here, the second chart, just off to the right of that, is going to be a 4-hour chart. Off to the right completely is going to be a liquidity map, also known as the book map. And then this is the professional screen that I use to do analysis. So essentially what you're seeing up top is going to be higher time frame. So here's your daily, here's your 4-hour. If I switch over here, you're going to see a marked up 5-minute chart, also running the VWAPs with higher time frame analysis. You'll see a 15-minute chart of the US dollar index futures, and then also the 4-hour crude oils here as well. I try to, so when higher time frame analysis will populate on this 5-minute chart, this 5-minute chart here, I try to leave as naked as possible. So the lines that you see drawn here were basically the only things that were drawn on this chart. So I identified two areas after kind of coming to the assumption here that we're in obviously a downtrend. You can see the first thing I drew here was a downward trend line. The market did gap down on the open, ultimately went on to fill the gap and then continued to sell off from there. So we have tested some significant higher time frame overhead resistance, 84.38, and then we did push through that ever so slightly on the second retest, and we have since then been kind of pushing a little bit lower. So you could see here we're starting to kind of break down on the 4-hour chart. Got quite a bit of selling volume now starting to come in after a couple significant levels. So I for myself personally, I layer in higher time frame because that should give me some insight ultimately to what's happening. So 2 trades. First trade here was placed at 8:45. So you can see we had this reversal candle here. I had this line drawn off. This is the trend line I drew earlier this morning. This was a touch of the trend line, so I marked this high off. And this was also a high that I marked off for all the traders inside the live trade room, because I said, hey guys, listen, if we cannot get through 82.80, it's not going to happen. And that was my final statement as we parted ways at 11 o'clock. And at 11:10, I placed a short trade off that level. The first short trade I took was right here, 8:45. Again, I will put a picture of the footprint chart and the detailed order flow inside the blog post so you can see what it looks like. I did take profit here at 82.47. I was looking to push the lows, that never transpired, okay? So I had tightened up my stop, ultimately got stopped out with some profit, no big deal. Wasn't a huge trade. But here nor there, it did finance the risk for the second trade I did take. And that second trade transpired over here at 11:10 after telling my traders as we parted ways at 11 o'clock, hey, if we can't get through 82.80, there's a good chance that we're going to fall back. And that's pretty much what happened. This particular candle at 11:10 signified that we were likely to fail here. So I did get short a little bit late, only because at 11 o'clock when we get done, I do take a walk outside. You know, I've been sitting for 3 or 4 hours. I'd like to go kind of get some exercise, take a breath, whatever. But it was very clear when I came back, and you'll see it in the video if you choose to watch the video of the actual trade being filled, that, you know, I got into this trade a little later than I would have desired to, but here nor there, doesn't matter. I was in a good trade, right? Took profit, again, kind of on the way down, and you'll see the way I managed it. I was looking here to flush the lows, and you could see later in the session, the lows ultimately ended up getting flushed, but as price pulled back here, I got stopped out. And I was okay with that, simply because I had to leave the house. I had a doctor's appointment. When life gets in the way, you know, you just adapt, right? Am I mad that I didn't get my last target filled? No. Why? Because it was a profitable trade. I covered half of my trade in the profit, and the other half got filled when it got stopped out, also in the profit. So it doesn't matter to me, right? Like, you can't get hung up on, oh, I didn't get perfection. The market is not about perfection. The market is about being adaptable to what it has to offer you, okay? From the bigger picture, I realized, hey, listen, you could see up here on the daily chart, we made a high on Tuesday. We tried to push that high on Friday. We failed to. We have higher time frame support here, 82.42. And then listen, we may continue to drop back here, right? Now, I update my analysis every night. I update my charts every night before the next morning. So when I come down to the computer and I have a cup of coffee, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go, right? All I got to do now is kind of set up this chart based on the overnight, and my charts up top here are already set and ready to go based on the prior session close. So this was the second short. They were both profitable. However, they both did get stopped out. And that's okay, right? More often than not, the trade's not going to do exactly what you want to do, but that's okay. That's why I am a big proponent of pay yourself, protect yourself, right? If the trade really keeps running, you got a runner there. You know what? You can always, if the market pulls back or corrects, you can always add to the position. But if you have the opportunity to continue to pay and protect yourself, it's silly not to do it, okay? It's just silly not to do it. And like I said, in the blog post, I will include a video of the actual trade transpiring. You can watch it. I would strongly recommend enhancing the speed on it, only because it took about a full hour, from the time we got caught up here until the time we pushed back here and got stopped out. So it's going to be really boring to watch for a full hour, but I believe you can enhance the speed and make it go a little bit faster. But that's how it was played, guys. Beautiful setup on the S&P 500 this morning. Two shorting opportunities here off of crude oil. Again, as I mentioned, I left my traders at 11 o'clock saying, hey guys, this 82.80 level, if we cannot overtake it, we should push back, potentially revisit the session lows. And that's exactly what we went on to do much later in the afternoon. You had to be patient if you wanted the big winner, but it pretty quickly crapped the bed, ultimately setting a lower high here and then continuing lower from there. So that's how it was played, guys. The S&P presented the best opportunity in a nice trending market. Crude oil here presented an opportunity to short at resistance. If you'd like to join us tomorrow morning live and every morning live from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll drop a link below. Inside that link, you'll be able to see all that's included. Professional analysis, live analysis, also stocks, futures, forex, cryptocurrency, trade ideas, big picture trades, short-term trades, swing trades, all kinds of stuff. Basically everything I'm looking at, I share with you, okay? How you want to employ it, if it fits your needs or not, that's fine, all right? I'm a one-man operation. I'm personal with each and every one of my clients. So for me, it's super important to have that relationship because I want to make sure you're being successful, right? If you're willing to share your trade plan with me, I'm happy to read it. If you're willing to share your trade journal with me, I'm happy to read it. I'll happily make comments. Consider obviously everything I share with you constructive, criticism. It's not to harm or hurt you. It's just to help you grow, right? More often than not, I'm going to be reinforcing, hey, you did ABC right. Beautiful. Keep doing it. You know what I mean? And that's my goal, is to see you grow as a trader at whatever level it takes for you to achieve that. So I'll see you guys in tomorrow's recap. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so you don't miss any upcoming videos. God bless and have a wonderful evening.